How's it going, guys? Jackson here with another video, and this time we're talking about all things TV and film for the month of July. It was a very busy month, a lot of good and a lot of bad and a bit of everything in between, and unfortunately I ran out of time to drop a lot of this in separate videos, so I thought I'd do a bit of a package deal, give my thoughts and feelings on each one. This is script free, so forgive me if it's a bit shit, but here we are, here we go. We're on the road to 1k subs as well. We're currently just surpassed 500 on the channel, which I never thought I'd ever get, so fair play. Thank you for anyone that has subbed. We keep on going until we hit that 1k club. Anyway, that's me waffling on. I watched quite a few different things this month, actually, quite a varied palette of new and old. But we're going to start things off with the shows. And spoiler warning for everything that we're discussing. I'll try and keep spoilers to a minimum, but there will be some spoilers. I will also timestamp everything that we discuss in this video, in case you want to just skip ahead or just listen to thoughts on one thing or other. All good, all fine and dandy here, guys. So first of all, Star Wars: The Acolyte. Everyone's favourite show to shit on in 2024, and for good reason, let's be honest. Starting off with the score, I scored this a 4 out of 10 for the whole show. Some might say that's generous. I did watch it all, and that's because I'm a big Star Wars guy, and I will give all Star Wars a shot and a chance, and I will normally see it through, even if I want to or not. In the context of The Acolyte, the thing that was keeping me going was the dark side type storyline with the Sith and with Chimera and so forth. I actually thought Manny Jacinto was very good as Chimera. The Plagueis stuff, well, I feel sorry for Plagueis being put into this crap, but it's quite cool to have Plagueis officially in the Star Wars sort of cinematic world or whatever. The actor who played May and Osha, she was bloody dreadful. Most of the acting was dreadful, the writing was dreadful, the storyline overall was crap. The power of one, the power of many, you know, we could keep going forever on this, and everyone has, so I won't bang on them too much. But yeah, just a load of rubbish, really. I guess to be a bit positive, some of the lightsaber sequences were alright, and Manny Jacinto, and I guess matey boy from Squid Games, he was alright soul, but he was nowhere near what a Jedi should be. He was so attached, it was unreal. Gave Anakin a run for his money there with how attached he was. Yeah, that's Star Wars: The Acolyte, 4 out of 10. Hopefully no season 2, but if we do, hopefully it will focus more on Chimera and the Sith and less so on all these woke Jedi. The Boys season 4, straight off the bat, worst season of the lot. 7 out of 10 for this show. It was okay. It was the weakest of the 4 seasons we've had so far, but a weak season of The Boys is still better than a lot of things on TV. Anthony Starr, what more can you say about him playing Homelander? Hopefully he finally gets that Emmy award that he so deserves. Surprised and disappointed that they killed off Newman towards the end, and Cole Urban, I'm not quite sure how he's still alive with that parasite or whatever, but here we are. He's now the baddie, I guess, of the show, which is quite an interesting thing. I'm looking forward to the final season, season 5. I know there was a lot of controversy about The Boys, but yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it still, but it was definitely the weakest of the 4 seasons. Looking forward to season 5, which I believe they have confirmed is the final season, so we'll see how this all wraps up. I assume with Homelander and Butcher both dying together, something along those lines. It'd be a bit like Harry Potter and Voldemort, where they jump off the edge together.
Come on, Tom. Let's finish this the way we started. Together.
Moving on, House of the Dragon Season 2. Yes, it just finished in August, but the bulk of it was out in July. A lot of people were saying that this is just one big trailer for Season 3, and especially the finale, and I get it. It was a slow season, there wasn't an awful lot of action, a lot of people were tuning in just to see dragons fight, and we're in a day and age where everyone's attention span is pretty shit, and we're just looking at our phones while we're watching TV, and we're just literally scroll, and then not really paying attention. For those of you that actually did pay attention, I would argue that this was still a very well written show, and probably the best quality show that I've watched this year. I love it. I loved House of the Dragon Season 1, and I love Game of Thrones, so I'm never going to shit on it. I do agree it was a bit slow, but Looking forward to season 3 and season 4. They've confirmed that season 4 will be the last season. We know that they're wrapping it up in the next 2 seasons, and I expect big things. It will be interesting to see what they do though, because they have moved away from a lot of the source material, and I've not read the books. I've seen all the spoilers, or most of them, online, because people are little shits and they like to just post spoilers just because they think they're cool. So I already kind of know the overall gist of the storyline. Well, a lot of it I know has changed quite significantly, so we'll see where they go with it. I thought Damon in Harrenhal was actually great, and some people loved it, some people hated it. Matt Smith's such a fine actor that I don't really care what he's doing. He always smashes his part. Big shout out to Ewan Mitchell playing Prince Regent Aemond, my favourite character of the show, big bad boy Aemond, getting more and more evil as the season went on, and I'm always Team Green or whatever the villains are in anything. I always prefer the villain characters. I understand why people are mad, but most people are just overreacting just for the sake of overreacting. But really, if we're talking, it's still like an 8.5 out of 10, that show. It's much better than most things on TV. And then the last show that I watched in July was Sausage Party Foodtopia. I have got a review out on the channel already, and it's linked on the video, so if you want to check out the proper review of Sausage Party Foodtopia, then click on that link. It's a sequel to the film Sausage Party, which came out, oh man, was it like 2016, along those lines? And at the time I enjoyed Sausage Party. I enjoyed that sort of stoner humour, that juvenile kind of humour that Seth Rogen and his like motley crew are known for. But Sausage Party Foodtopia for me was one big fail. It was what did I score it? I think I scored it a 3 out of 10, and I just didn't find it funny. That was the most criminal thing, was it just wasn't funny. Humor is very subjective, and fair play if you enjoyed it, I'm happy for you, but for someone that did enjoy the film to now not enjoy the show is worrying in my eyes, especially as it's very similar but not. And they went for that shock value for, in my eyes, YouTube short content and TikTok content, get a bit of traction on the socials by shocking people with the sex scene with that human with the sausage, with Seth Rogen's sausage, was just not necessary. And I'm no prude, but my god, that was just weird, and the humour just fell flat and just didn't hit for me. I did watch it all, but not for me, which is a shame because I liked the first one. Moving on to the films now. So starting things off with some positivity was the film Twisters. I saw this bad boy in the cinema in IMAX, and I do not regret that purchase. Honestly, Twisters was very good. 9 out of 10. You can check out my review on the channel. That is one video that I did have time to make. Glenn Powell was great, and the whole film was so well shot and well made, and pushing the envelope with the visual effects and whatnot, and paying homage to the original Twister. It's only Twisters is only a sequel by name. None of the story or the characters kind of cross over. I think it's still a shared world, but it really doesn't matter. There's some nice nods and references. But yeah, if you like sort of disaster type movies, or you like the first Twister, you'll like this film, and I would highly recommend it. Probably the easiest recommendation of the year so far. Nice popcorn flick. Let me know what your thoughts are on Twisters. I thought that was fantastic. Moving on to My Spy, The Eternal City, sequel to My Spy. I think it's just called My Spy, with Dave Bautista and Chloe Coleman. Both reprise their roles in it. Easy popcorn flick, 7 out of 10. Easy watch. Not more to say really. It's sort of a comedy / coming of age type film. It was a load of fun actually. I laughed more in this film than I thought I would, and I love Dave Bautista. I think he's great. He's got some good range actually. But yeah, this one was a very easy watch. If you like the original, I think you'll like the sequel. And if you just want an easy watch with fam or whatever, then this one's a good one for that. I finally watched Madam Web. It came out in February, didn't it? I think. And here we are in the month of July watching Madam Web. I always get around to watching all superhero films, whether it's Sony, DC or Marvel. I was expecting Madam Web to be worse than it was, in all honesty. You can check out the review for Madam Web. I did drop a quick review on this one. It was a very brief video. I think I scored it 4 out of 10. Like I say, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, seeing as it got absolutely panned by the critics and by the audience back in Feb. Dakota Johnson, I actually thought did a good job, even though she shat on the film herself. It is crap, but it wasn't as crap as I thought it would be. I think it's better than Morbius and a few other superhero stuff that we've received in the last few years. I mean, Eternals wasn't much better than it, in all honesty, either. Moving on, I checked out The Voyeurs, and I never watched it before. I'd heard good things about it. It's not that old. I think it's a few years old now. And both Sydney Sweeney and Ben Hardy in particular were very good in this. It's actually really messed up. I wasn't expecting it to be so messed up. I know the content is about spying on your neighbours, and you know, it's a bit of a thriller and whatnot, so I was expecting it to get a bit dark. They touched on quite serious and messed up sort of themes in this, and then you had the suicide scene. And just to top it all off, this is a big spoiler again, it's an old film, but that ending was fucked up. Honestly, I could not believe what I was watching when Sydney kidnaps the guy and the girl that they were spying on and literally blinds them with the machinery that she uses in the opticians where she works. It was so dark, I actually couldn't believe it. But hey, easy recommendation if you like your thrillers and whatnot, and for nothing else, if you're a Sydney Sweeney stan and you know you're a bit of a perv, she gets the kit off in this film, so for some of you that would be more than enough reason, I'm sure, to watch this. But actually it's quite a good film. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. So this only came out a few weeks ago, again on Amazon Prime. Loving myself a bit of Prime Video at the moment. I think Amazon Prime has come a long way with their video service and their originals. So this bad boy, a Guy Ritchie directed film starring Henry Cavill, Alan Richardson and Isa Gonzalez, to name a few. Really enjoyed it. It was a 7 out of 10 kind of film again, but World War II, based on a true story or true events. It's all about the Brits trying and allies trying to sabotage the Nazi U-boats in the Atlantic and cutting off their supply. The events of this and the character that Henry Cavill plays inspires the fiction of James Bond, because so I thought that was pretty cool. The action sequences were decent. Henry was great. Alan Richardson, man, he's just such a unit. If you haven't seen Reacher, I would highly recommend watching Reacher. He is sick. Isa Gonzalez actually does a really good job as well in this film. And overall, it was fun. I enjoyed it. Not much more to say than that. 7 out of 10. Worth checking out if you like your World War II type films, or if you like Guy Ritchie stuff in general. Last but not least, Deadpool Wolverine. I saw this bad boy on opening night. Packed cinema, completely sold out, and it was great to see. It was fun sitting in the cinema with others, you know, laughing away at the same stupid jokes, and it made me feel all warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum, and really enjoyed it. 8.5 out of 10 from me. The cameos were fun. By now everyone knows that. Again, people being little shits, just leaking all this stuff before people have even finished it. Like, literally opening weekend. Can't avoid spoilers anymore. If you don't watch these things on opening night or whatever, you have to just stay off the internet for the foreseeable until you go and see the film or the show. Hugh Jackman in particular, he was fantastic. Seeing as they brought him back, yes, a variant and all that. I don't know what Disney are going to do now, because he's still obviously got it, and he was great as Wolverine, and he could easily be the Wolverine moving forward for at least the next X-Men film that's coming out, but I think they're going to do a completely fresh reboot. My assumption here is both Wolverine and Deadpool from this film will appear in the 2 Avengers movies that we're going to get with Doctor Doom, as that's been recently announced with Robert Downey Jr. So I assume we were going to go see both of them again, and then we're going to get a 616 universe X-Men sort of origin story down the line, is my assumption. But who knows? We'll see how that pans out. The plot does suck. We're not really there for the plot, I guess. We're there for the humour and the action, the cameos and all that, and just to have a good time. Plot did suck, and I was a bit disappointed by it. Even though I scored at 8.5, I was expecting more from the overarching storyline. I expected to do a bit more with the TVA, maybe see an Obi or a Loki, or even what's Owen Wilson's character called? Maybe even seeing him again. Maybe having a bit more wider ramifications for the wider multiverse and the MCU moving forward. But it was quite self-contained, in all honesty, and it worked for the film, but it would have been nice to have had just a few breadcrumbs as to what we can expect moving forward. But yeah, I expect Wolverine and Deadpool, these versions, to show up in the new Avengers films in the years to come. I know a lot of people are starting to shit on this film and say it's not very good. But again, I think that's just clout chasing and just to get hits and clicks. Most people enjoyed this, and it's doing bits at the box office, and rightly so. I think Disney made a very smart decision to only have one MCU film on the calendar for 2024. After years and years of underperforming, it was a smart decision to sort of focus on Deadpool and Wolverine. And now we can move into the future with RDJ back at the helm. And again, very smart play, putting Robert Downey Jr. back into the fold. A lot of people will tell you, like your Joe blogs that you work with, they will probably tell you that Endgame was the last sort of Marvel film that they really enjoyed. And shock horror, that was when, we still had Tony Stark and we still had Captain America, being played by Chris Evans, and obviously Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man or Tony Stark. A lot of people will say Spider-Man was probably the last good one, but most Joe blogs, average Joes, will say that it hasn't been the same since they got rid of Iron Man and Captain America. And I do agree. It's hard not to when you've got the caliber of actors and the presence of those two stars. But it's good to see Robert Downey Jr. back. It is the safe option. It is a bit uninspired, but he's going to bring in the money. His stock has definitely risen since the early days of Iron Man. And I'm looking forward to him playing Doctor Doom. I think he's going to be great as Doctor Doom. We shall see where we go with this storyline. But yeah, let me know what you watched in the month of July. It was a very busy one for me. It was quite refreshing watching TV again, where they drop an episode every week. I know it can be frustrating and, cliffhangers and all that, but I did enjoy my Mondays with House of the Dragon, my Wednesdays with Star Wars The Acolyte, even though it was rubbish, and then my Thursdays with The Boys. It kept me very busy and gives you something to look forward to throughout the week. So that was fun having those 3 shows. So let me know your thoughts on any of this. Did you enjoy or hate anything that I enjoyed or hated, and vice versa? Thanks for watching this random off the cuff video. See you on the next video, guys. Thank you for tuning in and checking out the channel and the video. And if you liked anything, give it a like and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And I'll see you next time. Take care.